Okay. All right, we'll give everyone a couple of moments to join in. Okay, well, we've got a couple. We might get started and then more people can join as they're ready. Probably wear these tonight because I see I've been having such good sleep and my blue light glasses really make a difference for keeping all my sleep hormones in check. So we'll go with this for now. All right, so welcome everybody to our live tonight. Thanks for joining. As usual, if you have any questions or comments as we go along, please feel free to drop them in the comment box. I think this is... Oh no, it can't be our first live back for the year. We did one for the pre-detox course. First live back on my own. So yes, very nice to be back. Although it is always a bit more fun when it's Jana and I. But yeah, I hope everybody joined in for our last Facebook Live, the one about our pre-detox course. And if you did, or even if you didn't, I hope that people have purchased the course and are enjoying it. It was a really fun, really lengthy, but very, very fun process. It was, we got so much good content in there, kind of placed a lot of focus on making it all implementable and as digestible as possible. So, yeah, we really hope that shows through and people are kind of having that experience as they go through the course. I actually have a background in learning design as well. So in a previous job, I redesigned some nutrition and naturopathy degrees for a university. So yeah, I could draw on a lot of that experience for creating this course and also for the courses that we will be creating in the future, or we are currently creating for the future. So yes, hope everyone's enjoying it. Please feel free to share any feedback, how you're finding it. So tonight's Facebook Live is all about our upcoming challenge. So I assume most of you are doing the challenge and that's why you've joined. If not, you'll still get lots out of this Facebook Live because we will be talking like literally everything you need to know about doing a Slim by Nature detox, particularly phase 1 and phase 2. We'll probably do another Facebook Live before we get into phase 3 during this challenge. But yes, as you'll all know, it starts this Saturday, the 29th of Jan. And as I was just, hi Natasha, thanks for joining. As I was just talking about our pre-detox course, now is a really good time to get into it. If you are doing the challenge and you really want kind of that extra kick or organization, or you really want to feel like you know exactly what's going on, set yourself up for the best success possible, I definitely would recommend doing our pre-detox course. If you start it now, even if you start it sometime this week, you'll have plenty of time to get it done before our challenge starts. Even if you do it like within the first couple of days of the challenge, if you've got a little bit of time to get yourself organized, it would still be completely suitable then. Really anytime during the challenge or a detox, there'll still be lots to learn from it. So yeah, jump into that. So as I was saying, our challenge starts this Saturday, the 29th of Jan. So Saturday and Sunday will be our loading days. So that's phase 1. And then Monday is when the first day of phase 2 detox and fat burning actually begins. So basically this weekend is all the fun. And you don't really have to think too hard apart from just putting on your patch or taking your drops. Otherwise, everything else is basically the exact same. There are no rules. There's nothing really off limits in terms of what you can eat or drink. We'll get into that a little bit as well, but don't be afraid to eat and drink during these couple of days. Don't also be too afraid if the scales go up. We'll kind of jump into why, but yeah, you can tackle loading in a couple of different ways. I think it's good to not go too crazy, but yeah, you don't have to feel like you need to start your detox on Saturday. Saturday and Sunday are really just to kind of get the body into it. So basically the purpose of loading, there are kind of a couple of key reasons that we have included the loading phase, that we've decided to not just jump people straight into detox and fat burning. First one is kind of to clean out the pantry a little bit. Like I said, there aren't really any rules. You can really eat whatever you wish. And so it's actually a really good way to kind of get a lot of foods out of your pantry that you won't be eating during detox. And that might sound, I don't know, like unnecessary, or like it's not really going to make too much difference. But we know that humans are interesting creatures in that if something is more difficult to get, it significantly reduces the chances that we'll actually find it. So particularly with food, there's so much research to say that if you don't have food in your house, you're less likely to eat it. And yes, there will be, a certain percentage of people who will still go out and get it. But for the majority of people, just the sheer I guess process, or like being so put out to have to leave the house and go and get something, or to have to sit and order and wait for something, is enough to put them off. And even so much so, they've found that if you live in a house, say for example with a partner or family, kids, parents, even housemates, whoever it may be, who have other food, and you cannot convince them to throw away their chocolates and lollies and cookies or cakes or whatever, ice cream, might be bread, I don't know, anything that you're worried might tempt you, even just putting it in a container and putting it like in the top cupboard or in the back of a shelf somewhere that's hard to get to. That will also help to avoid kind of feeling tempted. It almost feels like it's not really an option because it's not right there. And then it's nice because whoever's food it may be, you haven't taken it away from them. It's still there, so they can't really get too annoyed at you, but you're also going to reduce their chances of eating it. So it might kind of encourage them gently, nudge them into making some healthier choices along with you without, forcing anyone to detox. Another purpose of loading, and the reason that we allow or kind of encourage people to eat more food than what they would while they're on detox, is to kind of speed up the metabolism a little bit. So it's to kind of keep the body moving. It's got to continue to produce a lot of digestive juices and continue with peristalsis so that it can continue to metabolize and process that extra food. So it is quite good in that sense. If you're eating, it doesn't have to be a crazy amount more, but as long as you're eating more than what you will be on detox, it can be what you normally eat. That's totally fine, but it's kind of continuing on with that process so that when you do start your detox, your body's kind of ready to burn things up. And on top of that, if you are eating exactly what you would normally, so when I did my detox, the whole team did an active detox earlier last year. On my 2 days of loading, I basically ate the exact same. I mean, every day is always slightly different. It was a weekend, so I went out and we went to a cafe and had a couple of drinks and stuff like that. But the fact that you're either taking your detox drops or you're wearing a detox patch will kind of be starting that whole process of the metabolism continuing to burn, even if you are, or starting to burn a bit faster, even if you are eating the exact same things. Same with elimination channels. So the detox patches or drops, basically within those 2 days, you're wearing them so that they can begin to work, really. We want them to be balancing out your blood glucose, kind of also your cravings and hunger. A lot of the ingredients in your patches and drops do help to do that. Also supporting elimination channels so that we're making sure that when you actually start to burn fat, that anything that it was holding can be released. Because a really interesting thing about fat is that it actually accumulates a lot of hormones, fat-soluble vitamins particularly. It sequesters other toxins and things like that. So when we burn fat, it actually gets released. And if we don't have sufficient enough elimination channels, it literally will continue to recycle within the body and maybe get stored somewhere else or maybe wreak havoc somewhere else. It's often... Sometimes at the start, it can be why people can get detox symptoms. We don't find it so much in our program because of the patches and the drops, what they work to do. There are other reasons that people can get some of those symptoms, but it is why sometimes people feel a little tired or just generally blah, or they feel like they're getting sick or whatever it may be, if they're doing some other sort of weight loss program, is because those toxins are continuing to be recycled. And another reason that we have the loading phase is to top up stored energy. So basically, our bodies have energy stores in the form of glycogen. And once we start detoxing, we're not eating quite so much, the body's going to use more of those glycogen stores. And it is why the first week or the first couple of days you'll notice your weight drop a little bit faster. It's partly fat. Absolutely, it is partly fat, but it's also glycogen. We do that on purpose as well. It's to kind of help your body ease into the process of detox and fat burning a little easier. If you were to not have topped up glycogen, and you started a detox, you would feel extra tired and extra hungry. So it's another benefit of loading. The other thing to note about glycogen is that for every glycogen store, molecule, it also holds onto one molecule of water. So that's another reason why the scales may go up after you're loading. It's not necessarily because you put on fat. The body doesn't put on fat necessarily that quickly. It can be because of these extra glycogen stores. So although it may sound small, even a few or however many of these molecules that your body holds onto extra, plus one water for each of them, can add up on the scales. But then also because you've got a little bit of extra food in your system, that can still be sitting really inside of you that hasn't been passed as stool yet. And my third reason for, oh no, that's it actually. Water in general, glycogen energy stores, and kind of increased food intake that's still sitting in your body. These are the main reasons why you may see the scales go up after loading. Some people find it a little disheartening. Do not be disheartened at all. It's almost guaranteed to not be fat. If it is, it's the teeniest, tiniest bit that will burn up once you kind of get into the actual detox and fat burning. So don't be stressed if you do see the scales go up a little bit. It's literally just extra food and extra energy and water stores. Actually, I would like to correct myself. One glucose molecule actually stores 3 molecules of water, not 1 molecule of water. So you can see why people say you drop water weight when you first start losing weight. As again, some of it will be fat, but yes, you will be dropping water weight because your body is hanging on to so much water because it's also hanging on to so much energy from the food that you've been eating. Okay, let's jump into phase 2, a little bit of info on phase 2 now. So I wanted to start off by talking about why we don't combine proteins and veg on the detox. We do get asked this, not too frequently, but we do get asked it a little bit. I think it can look a little scary at first when you're coming into do your detox and you see that you can only have one type of protein and one type of vegetable in every meal. It can make it sound like it might be a little boring or not the most fun way to eat. But I assume everyone here is in our private Facebook group, and you'll be seeing all the amazing food posts, detox approved food posts that people are doing. There's so much you can do with one type of vegetable and one type of protein in a meal because of all the unlimited spices, sauces, herbs, the extra couple of veggies in there. There's still heaps you can do. You can add your snacks and you can add your fruit in. So there is a lot of variety, but I think at first it can seem a little daunting, and people usually want to know why they can't combine their protein. So there are 2 main reasons. Firstly, it is to reduce the load on the digestive system. If anyone is kind of just rearranging my tea situation here. If anyone has ever really dived into food combining or kind of anything like that, or even the digestive system in general, you may know a little bit more about reducing load on the digestive system. Basically, if you're eating something that is really difficult for the body to break down. It's going to sit in your stomach for a little bit longer, use up a lot more resources. And when it's sitting in there for longer, it has a lot more time to ferment and then cause further disruptions that can leak into your bloodstream, which can get transported around your body and kind of cause inflammatory processes in other places. But that is why if people are eating things that bodies can't quite break down properly, either because they've overeaten or they've eaten something that's way too, what's the right way to phrase it? That's just way too complicated for the body to break down. It's lots of different mixes of things, or there's way too much fat, or there's way too much carbs, or there's overeating in general. Or people have a food intolerance. If they eat something like gluten or dairy that their body doesn't have the capacity to break down, tends to sit in the stomach for longer, ferments, or goes through other kind of inflammatory processes. And this is why we experience a lot of digestive symptoms. So sometimes people don't always notice their digestive symptoms. It's not always as black and white as constipation or diarrhea or stomach pains or bloating. It's not always as easy to identify as that. It's actually very interesting that one of the largest causes of fatigue literally comes from the gut, because if we can't break down our food properly, we also can't absorb all of the key nutrients that we need to produce energy. So often digestive challenges will be masked as symptoms that may seem completely separate to digestion, but are very, very linked. Skin is another really big one for digestion. A lot of people don't necessarily realize that the reason that their skin is flaring up, whether they have eczema or psoriasis or any sort of dermatitis, or they get funny infections, unfortunately, like myself, it's coming from the gut. There will be some sort of a disruption, some sort of a kind of challenge to the integrity of the wall, some sort of a strange bacteria potentially. So during this detox, we want to reduce all of that load. So basically we want to eat foods that is really easy for the body to break down. And if you're mixing lots of different types of proteins and lots of different types of vegetables, it's just a lot more for the body to have to break down. Whereas if it can just kind of focus on a couple of key things, it is so much easier to kind of go through those digestive processes and avoid a lot of those digestive discomforts. But the other thing is that if the body is using up a lot of energy to break down really big foods or big meals, or even just foods that have been mixed too much, we're using a lot of energy. And we really do want to make sure that we're saving energy, one, for ourselves, so that we're not completely exhausted during the day while we're detoxing. But also we want to save a lot of energy for our elimination organs. So we want to make sure that, we can sweat out toxins through the skin, that our kidney and liver are functioning optimally so that it can flush out a lot of toxins, and so that these detoxification processes can kind of go ahead optimally. Okay, so the first reason that we don't combine protein and veg on detox is to reduce the load on the digestive system. The second reason is so that you kind of have a lot more ability or power to recognize which foods suit your body, to be able to kind of connect with exactly how foods are making you feel. If you've had a meal where you've only had one or two kind of key foods in there, and you feel great, it's easy to know that your body has responded well to those foods. Whereas if you, say, get to, a certain time of the day and you notice you get really bloated, your tummy's really grumbly, and, you feel like you need to run to the bathroom, and you're going back through your day trying to figure out what it was, if you've been eating a massive mix of things at all of your meals, it's going to be so hard to identify. Whereas if you've had lunch, say, for example, and a couple of hours later, it depends on exactly where the challenge is as to how long after it will be. But if you notice later in the day that you're starting to get some of these symptoms, you can kind of look back on what you had for lunch and say, okay, it was really either going to be the pumpkin or the eggs or whatever it was that you had. It could still be one of the spices. It could still be onion. It's very unlikely to be cucumber or lettuce because they're mostly just water. That's why we've allowed them in there. But that's making it a little bit easier. You've really just got three options, really, of what it could be. It could be your protein, it could be your veg, it could be a spice. So that's where for your next meal, you can kind of remove one of those or change one of those or mix it up completely and see if you have any of the same symptoms. And then you can kind of start to work from there and being able to recognize what does and doesn't suit your body. So you can do this, like I said, through digestive symptoms. You could do it through energy. Let's say you've been eating similar things for a few days, or you picked up something that maybe wasn't suiting you, so you've been avoiding it, and then you have a few really amazing days of really good energy, great moods. That's where you might start to kind of make a bit of a link. Hunger, sometimes people eat certain things and they can notice that they're really hungry the next day or later in the day. So you can also identify whether something, and it may be because it's not so filling, but probably not on this program. That's why we've kind of structured the food to be 100 grams, if you're on the original program, of cooked, if it's legumes, or raw weight, if it's meat, for every meal, because they are reasonably level at satiating people. It's probably more if your body is having a different glucose response and it's messing with your hunger hormones, that people may feel a bit hungry after something. So again, it's another kind of identifying factor in how our body responds to certain foods. And the other one is weight gain or weight loss. So this may speak a little bit more to how quickly your body is digesting something. We do tend to find that if people eat red meat, sometimes even eggs at night, that their weight may not shift in the morning, that the next day they may go up or they may stay the same. It's not necessarily because they put on fat or because they haven't burnt any fat. It can just be because that food is still sitting in their body. But we don't really want food to be hanging around for too long. It is really important to keep our digestive tract moving, to keep eliminating. So if it's been any longer than a couple of days and you're not passing a bowel motion, I really would recommend reading our blog. If you jump onto our website, you'll see a blog called 10 Tips to Stimulate Bowel Motions, I believe, and explains a little bit about why we can have fewer bowel motions on detox. I won't go into it now because I know myself, if I do, I'll spend like 5-10 minutes talking about it. But all the information is on that blog. And it's also got tips on how to naturally stimulate your bowel motions as well. Okay, so that's why we don't combine protein and veg while you're on the detox. Again, if anyone's got any questions as we're going or any comments, any experiences, feel free to jump in. I just want to talk now about the importance of eating all of your allocated food. So we do explain in our guide that it's important that you eat everything that's been allocated to you for the day. We do still sometimes see women who aren't, or who want to know if they can skip things or want to substitute things. The best thing that you can do is to stick to the guide as it is, in the sense that you should eat everything that's on there. And sometimes we'll have people say, I don't like fruit. Can I have vegetables instead? And to that, unless they're completely allergic or something, unavoidable, no. No, the program has been designed very specifically around really having a variety of different types of foods, and we'll be releasing a little bit more education around this kind of scattered in different forms throughout the year. But it is very, very important to make sure that you're eating a variety, one across the day, but also across a week. Actually, today I was just working on some Instagram educational content, and one of the, factors I was talking about was the research that's found the benefit of eating at least 30 different types of plants in a week. That might sound like lots, particularly if you're on detox and you're only allowed to eat one type of vegetable per meal, but that doesn't just have to be vegetables. That's also herbs, also lettuce. You could be eating different types of lettuce. That actually does count. Same with, say, you're having cabbage. 2 different colors of cabbage count as 2 different vegetables. In my book, actually, I haven't read if everyone else says that, but to me they are, because they do have different nutritional profile. Different herbs all have a different nutritional profile. Same if you are a vegetarian, or if you're later in your detox and you're eating some plant-based proteins, any legumes, so like lentils, kidney beans, chickpeas, rice, they all count as plant food. So 30 may sound like lots, but actually if you sit down and look, and also you've got your fruits. If you're mixing your fruits up, it can be so easy. So we have the different types of food, of all the different groups within our approved food list that you must eat every day for that reason, so that you can be getting different nutrients, whether that's macronutrients, so protein, carbs, and fats. Actually, fats we avoid. We'll get to that. But protein and carbs, we want to make sure that you're getting a good amount of those, but then also your micronutrients, so your vitamins, your minerals, your antioxidants, your phytonutrients, all the other things that the body needs in smaller doses, but still needs to kind of thrive and function optimally. Are the headaches normal? Yes. And actually, I'm about to talk about that. That's in a topic or two. I will get there. So yes, you want to make sure that you're eating all of the allocated foods to ensure that you're getting all the nutrients that you need, but also the energy that you need. We really don't want you to be not eating enough. Under eating is not good. It's not like, oh, the less I eat, the better. Some people think that they'll get an even better results if they skip the carbs, but that's definitely not true. The carbs or the snack portion is also in there for a reason. So yes, make sure you're eating all of the allocated foods. And also when it comes to eating a different protein and a veg across the day, it's for the exact same reason, to make sure that you're getting a more diverse intake of foods and then of all the nutrients and vitamins that make them up. Detox headaches. Okay, so this is our next topic. Good timing since a question just came through. So detox. Okay, I'll just answer this one really quickly before I jump back into the detox headaches. Lettuce, spinach, rocket. So you'll see on our approved food list that lettuce is in the unlimited section. Spinach and rocket are still in the vegetables. That is for a particular reason. We moved lettuce onto the unlimited because it is very, very low in nutrients. So like I was just saying, we're not just thinking about calories. In fact, we don't count calories at all, but it's not just about calories and carbohydrates and proteins and those kind of things. We also want to make sure you're getting lots of good vitamins and minerals. Lettuce doesn't contain very many at all. It's got a couple, maybe a little bit of fiber, lots of water. It's 96% water. It contains a lot of water. Whereas spinach and rocket are a lot more nutritionally dense. So per, 100 grams, you will be getting a significant amount more of nutritional benefit from the spinach and the rocket than you would be from lettuce. And for that reason, lettuce you can have unlimited. You can add it into any meal. You can add it into any snack. You can make a salad just for throughout the day if you're ever hungry. You can never eat it, it's fine, but it is one thing that you can have literally as much as you want all the time. Whereas spinach and rocket you would use as your vegetable source. So if you wanted to eat spinach, let's say, for your lunch with, eggs or whatever it may be, you could make a salad with spinach, eggs, and any other free ingredients that you wanted to use. So you might put spring onions, you might put lettuce in there, cucumber, and then any approved sauces. But yes, you can eat them. All are available to you on our program, but you just would eat them differently. So lettuce you can eat whenever you like. Spinach and rocket you would use just as one of your vegetable sources for the day. Okay, hope that clears it up. Detox headaches. So detox headaches, not everyone gets them, I will say, for anyone watching and they're a little bit nervous about starting the detox. Not everybody gets detox headaches. Some, and also in the first week, everyone feels completely different. I have to say, I can't say that there has been a common thread. I will say, though, that what I've seen with people on this detox is overall a lot more positive than what I've seen in general weight loss or detoxes. It's not super common for people to feel really headachy or really exhausted in the first, at all, but it's normally the first week that is worse. That is largely because of loading and because of the detox drops and patches that are helping to support your energy. But detox headaches can occur, and it's largely because the toxins are being removed from your body. So it is technically a good sign. It means that your fat cells, your adipose tissue is starting to open up. It's starting to release a lot of the vitamins, toxins, old minerals, old hormones that it's been sequestering, and they're being removed from the body. Everyone responds really differently. Everyone's body responds really differently. So for some, that may present as headaches. For others, they may not feel it at all. They just get flushed out. They will be flushed out either way, but it just may take a little bit longer if you're getting headaches. So it is totally normal, but I will say it's not super common, which is a good thing, a good thing either way. If it does continue for longer than 5 to 7 days, we do say to see a doctor. There could potentially be something else going on, but yeah, I've never actually seen that on this detox, that anyone's headaches last for longer than that. But in general, there are some things that you can do to help it pass a little quicker. So first of all, drinking lots of water. So this may sound a little reductive, but drinking water actually really does help. Drinking water does help the body to flush things out a little quicker, particularly because a lot of our toxins do get removed via the kidneys and via urine. So drinking more water can really help to flush it out. Magnesium. So I often will recommend a really high quality magnesium to people, and this helps to relax the muscles in general. So anyone who's getting muscle twitches, who's got achy muscles after the gym, I always recommend a high quality magnesium. For headaches as well in general and migraines, magnesium is fantastic. So even though the headache has been caused by detox, magnesium can still really help. When I say high quality, not all forms of magnesium are made equal. So it's best to make sure you're avoiding any supplement that's got magnesium oxide in it. So if anyone's going to go looking for magnesium, just take a note to look on the label at the back of the ingredients list and avoid magnesium oxide. There are 2 really good brands that I like to buy from Chemist Warehouse. One is Ethical Nutrients and the other is Thompson's. They both have really good quality magnesium, but oxide is incredibly common, unfortunately. It's because they can put it in really, really high amounts. So you'll often see magnesiums that say high strength magnesium. It's because they've just shoved it full of oxide, but our bodies can't actually absorb the magnesium in the oxide. It's actually used in hospitals as like a colon cleanse before people have operations. So yes, don't get oxide, but magnesium can be very, very helpful for headaches. Drinking broths. So on our program, you're allowed to have up to 500 milliliters equivalent of broths in a day. And we recommend those because they're really high in minerals and nutrients. So minerals, I guess, kind of in a similar way to how magnesium works. Magnesium is a mineral. Getting that balance of electrolytes and minerals correct can really help with headaches. And then my last tip for headaches is to drink our tea. So all of our teas are wonderful because they're very hydrating. They've got a lot of natural herbal ingredients that have very particular health benefits. But the ones that I recommend particularly for headaches, the first one is our T1, the liver detox. For a couple of ingredients in there, ginger, first of all, is specific for reducing headaches and even nausea. So nausea is also not common, but sometimes people may feel a little nauseous along with their headaches or along with, I guess, kind of the changes that are going on with their gut. Again, it is technically a good thing because the body is responding, but no one likes to feel discomfort. So ginger is really great for that. And nettle is another ingredient that is in our liver detox tea. Nettle can help to reduce symptoms of pain, including headaches, because it's an anti-inflammatory. And then the second tea that I would recommend is our anti-inflammatory tea. So this also has ginger and then also curcumin. There is a little bit of evidence that shows that curcumin, which is the concentrated form of turmeric, can help reduce the frequency and severity of headaches and migraines. Lovely. Okay. If anyone's got any other questions, feel free to pop them up. Otherwise, I'd like to go into how our detox drops work and also how the patches work. Okay, so basically, our detox drops and patches are both homeopathic remedies. They work in the same way. They produce the same results. They have slightly different ingredients. A lot of the ingredients overlap, but they're slightly different formulations. But we do find in general that they're as equally as effective as each other. It's really just about convenience. Some people love the convenience of wearing the patches because they only have to put them on once a week and then change them once a week. Whereas some people really like having to take drops before their meals. It's almost like it reminds them that they're on detox, and it reminds them, 3 times a day that they're doing something really good for their body. And they feel like they're getting, I think it's more of kind of that feeling, that psychological taking something before your meals and feeling like you're doing something, active to improve your digestion and how your body's going to respond to that meal. So basically, homeopathic remedies are not like other herbal or nutritional remedies. They're not at therapeutic doses. So instead, the basic principle of homeopathy is that a substance that can trigger a certain disease can also be used to treat that disease. So this is referred to as a law of similars. Excuse me. So basically, instead of giving your body a high dose of something that it can use, it instead gives your body a low dose of something that will stimulate an internal kind of process. So let's say if it was muscle cramps, which our let's say that it's liver detoxification, which our detox drops and patches both do. So we've got a few ingredients in there that help the liver to improve its elimination channels. Basically, instead of giving a herb that is going to, promote phase 1 or phase 2, make those pathways turn over a little bit faster, make a lot of the enzymes kind of more available to be able to use so that everything happens faster, it instead stimulates kind of an internal power and internal healing that then generates this benefit instead. A really good pro of using homeopathics is that they are suitable for everybody. So we obviously have a lot of women, I'm sure there'll be some watching tonight, who have health conditions, maybe thyroid, sometimes PCOS or other kind of reproductive, and people may be on medications. There are lots of herbs that are completely safe and have high levels of proof that they're safe with medications. But some we don't unfortunately have enough proof for, so we have to say that they're unsuitable. So by using homeopathics, we can kind of make our remedies and this detox process available to everyone, even if people are taking medications. Another thing to note about the drops is that they are really sensitive to smells and tastes. So this is why they need to be taken 20 minutes away from meals. And like I said, actually on that note, we do recommend taking them 20 minutes before your meals, but we occasionally get women saying they've forgotten. What can I do? Firstly, really try to take it 20 minutes before your meals because it will help a little bit with kind of digestion, how your body processes that meal that you're about to eat. You may like to set an alarm on your phone. Sometimes if people have to prepare their meals still, they'll take their drops and then prepare and then spend about 20 minutes before they can eat. I mean, anywhere from really, as long as it's at least 20 minutes is totally fine. You wouldn't want to eat too much closer because, like I said before, the drops are quite sensitive to smells and tastes because they're such powerful little remedies for kind of promoting that internal force and drive and health. It does make them quite sensitive to smells and tastes. So yeah, you want to wait at least 20 minutes, but if it's any longer, it's okay. And if you have forgotten, you can take them after your meal. Just make sure you don't eat or drink anything 20 minutes either side of taking your homeopathics. Yeah, and the American Association of Medicine has said that homeopathic medicines have no indications, no side effects. They're completely safe with other conventional or natural remedies. So the detox patches are our other option. Like I said, if anyone's still tossing up, it's really just a personal preference. So our transdermal patches are convenient and very effective. Like I said, you only have to put them on once a week, replace them once a week. By absorbing the remedy straight into the skin, we actually bypass the digestive tract and they're absorbed straight into the bloodstream. So typically if you take a supplement or if you take your drops, it will go first into your digestive tract where it will then get absorbed, and then eventually it will get pulled through into wherever it needs to go to the body. Whereas if you're taking something as a transdermal patch, it will get absorbed directly into the bloodstream. And this type of delivery for medications is actually common, I guess. There are lots of medications that have been used successfully as transdermal patches. So I'm going to butcher the names of all these. Methimazole, it's used to treat hypothyroidism. There are a couple of others that are used for behavioral issues, pain relief, even things like thyroid medications. A lot of people will take as transdermal patches. So they are super effective. Lovely. Okay, I would like to cover supplements in general. So we've just kind of gone through what you'll be taking while you're on detox. The other one that you may be on is our Inner Goodness lymphatic patch. It will work in the exact same way as our detox patches, and then it gets absorbed straight into the bloodstream. But the Inner Goodness ones are really lovely at helping to promote that lymphatic movement. So the lymphatic system is really a really important one for detoxification. It basically mops up all of the excess toxins that get leaked out of the bloodstream and into the lymphatic system. The interesting thing, though, about our lymphatic system is that it doesn't have a pump. So our blood is pumped by the heart. It keeps things moving. Whereas our lymphatic system, there's no pump. It just kind of gets moved from other factors. So there are a couple of things that we can do to help support it. Exercise is a really big one, certain types of massage, but also eating really clean diets does help to keep it moving. If the blood's flowing, it does kind of help to stimulate the lymphatic flow a little bit. But this is also where remedies can come in handy. So there are lots of remedies, particularly homeopathic and herbal remedies, that we have a lot of evidence for being able to support the flow of the lymphatic system. So that's exactly what our Inner Goodness patches do. They come in our Detox on the Go programs, I think some of the longer ones. So yes, they're a great addition to a detox because it it kind of gives an additional support to one key channel of elimination. Okay, other supplements. So we covered this a little bit in your detox guides, but we don't go into this much detail, purely because not too many people take all of these supplements. And if anyone really wants to know, the information is available on our support website, on our support platform. But basically, while you're on your detox, you can continue to take all medication or supplements that's been prescribed to you by your doctor or healthcare professional, all vitamins and minerals that are in tablets or capsules. So whether that's your magnesium, maybe taking B vitamins, you might be taking a multi. I will say generally though, multis and B vitamins maybe, but there are certain supplements that I think you probably don't need so much on detox, but it's very, very personal as to why people may need them or may not need them. So if you're unsure, you can contact us. You can email me, nutrition@slimbynature.com.au, and you can send me a link to your supplement or a photo of the supplement or the name of the supplement. I'll look it up and let you know and why you're taking it, and I'll let you know if it's good to keep taking it, or maybe it's not so necessary because you'll be getting everything you need from the food and the detox drops or patches. You can continue to take all vitamins and minerals in tablets and capsules, all herbs in tablets and capsules, any mushrooms in tablets and capsules. I would say don't continue to take mushroom powders, but in tablets and capsules, it's okay. Gut healing powders. If anyone's taking a gut healing powder because you need it, yes, continue. It will really help support the detox process, but just make sure you take it after your meals. Do not take it before meals, and don't take it near your detox drops. But if you're not currently on it and you don't need it, I wouldn't bother jumping onto it. It's not something that's essential, or otherwise we'd put it in the detox. But if you do need it, it can help. A couple of things that we've put on our maybe list. So some people, particularly only really if you're on active, may still continue if they're already taking fat burners or appetite suppressants or pre-workouts or anything like that. So in general, you probably don't need it, since our detox drops and patches do produce a lot of similar actions, particularly when it comes to fat burning, suppressing appetite. You're kind of just doubling up on actions, and it's not necessarily going to give you an even bigger action. It's not necessarily going to, reduce your hunger even more or make you burn even more fat. It's just kind of unnecessary in a way. But for people who are on active and they feel like they really need a pre-workout, not a pre-detox, before they do their workouts in the morning, anyone on active, you will have seen your guides, you do eat a little bit more. So there is some scope to fit in some food around workouts to help support your recovery, and particularly using New Nourish and the Balancing Balm to help that as well. But yeah, for some people, they may still choose to continue with fat burners, appetite suppressants, and particularly pre-workouts. But yeah, definitely not necessary. Yes, a personal choice. The next one is greens powders. So we've only really left this on the maybe because we've had a couple of people who swear by them. And technically, they're not high in calories. They're not, they don't have anything nasty added to them. They're just a big mix of different types of greens. And the reason that we may err on the side of no is just because, we don't mix vegetables for a certain reason. This would be giving you kind of a big mix of different sources, but also potentially because it's processed, it's easy for the body to break down anyway, so we don't run into the same challenges. So we put it on the maybe list. It's a personal choice. If you're not currently taking it, I would not recommend starting. You don't need it. A greens powder, it's got benefits, absolutely, but I kind of view it as just a natural multivitamin. And in general, I don't think people need multivitamins, especially not if you're on a detox like this or you're leading a really healthy life. Ideally, we should be able to get everything we need from our diets. If you're eating lots of different plants, lots of greens, you'll be getting everything you need anyway. And on detox, you definitely have the ability to be doing that. But for those who desperately love their greens powders, it is a personal choice. So the nays, or the supplements that you can't, I just remembered I have not covered why we don't eat fat yet. I'll come back to that. So the supplements that we say not to take while you're on detox, first one is fish oil. This is what reminded me that I need to speak about not eating fat on the detox. Fish oil contains a lot of fat, which we aim to avoid during the detox to reduce load on the liver and to enhance overall detoxification processes. There are other supplements that can contain oil, like CoQ10 and vitamin D. They're more suitable, mostly because the fat or oil content is a bit lower. The capsules are a lot smaller. You're not taking anywhere near as many. Some fish oil capsules, you can be taking 6, 10, 12 plus a day, and they're massive. Some of them are huge. That would be, I don't know how many tablespoons worth of oil, but it's not conducive for the detox process. So we say don't take them unless your doctor or someone says you absolutely have to, which I don't really know any doctors who do. But if they do, absolutely listen to your doctor. The next one that we say don't take during detox is a protein or a collagen powder. In general, once you finish your detox and you're living your best healthy life, absolutely you can throw in a protein or collagen powder where needed. But both of these we consider to be more akin to food products rather than supplements. They're not providing you with any micronutrients, they're more macronutrients, which really we're aiming to get from food in the detox. So they're not necessary, particularly when it comes to collagen. There are ingredients in our detox drops and patches that can help to support healthy collagen. And also, if anyone's looking for an added boost, Formula Z has a lot of ingredients that can help to support healthy collagen and therefore healthy skin, hair, nails. So we say try to avoid taking protein or collagen powders. The last one is superfood powders. So I know that greens were maybe kind of more towards no, but a maybe. Superfood powders we've put in the no. That's because these tend to contain more carbohydrate and kind of energy dense ingredients. So although they are still powders, and they do contain ingredients that can be very, very good and can be very, very nutrient dense, very high in antioxidants. All of those things are true, but also we're ensuring that you're getting enough of that throughout your detox. So there's kind of no need to add any more on in a processed powder that contains more carbohydrates and kind of adding in more energy that we haven't really allocated within the program. So we say avoid taking any superfood powders. The last one, a very important one, are any gummy or effervescent vitamins, tablets. You can take whatever the ingredients may be. Say it was a B vitamin, like Barocca. A lot of people like to take that in general. Please avoid it while you're on detox. In general, I would say please avoid it. But definitely while you're on detox, they contain a lot of added excipients and other ingredients in there to be able to get the texture of a gummy and the flavor of a gummy, and then to be able to get the effervescent to behave as they want it to behave, for it to fizzle. And they put some weird things in there that are not on the ingredients list. They don't have to be on the ingredients list, and they don't have to tell you what they are. So I would say avoid them. And yeah, like I said, depending on exactly why you're taking it, if it's because you want some more energy, maybe have a coffee. Coffees can be so good for you. A black coffee, you can put in a dash of milk. You can have up to 50 mils a day of milk. You might take a B vitamin as a tablet or a capsule, a good quality one. That would be suitable, but avoid the effervescence and definitely avoid the gummies. So gummies also are very, very difficult or almost impossible to get actual therapeutic doses into them. But then you've also got all the other junk that's in there, and it just makes the whole process unnecessary, basically. Okay. Honestly, I feel like I'm starting to lose my voice. All right. I just would also now like to go back to why phase 2 doesn't include fats. So you will have noticed that on our approved food list, we've got vegetables, fruits, proteins, snacks. The snacks are all carb-based, herb spices, approved sauces. We don't include fat sources. And I will say that for a long-term healthy diet, healthy fat is essential. Getting really good quality fat in the form of avocados, maybe some really good quality meat, definitely things like eggs, tempeh tofu, amazing sources of fat, nuts and seeds, also amazing. There are lots and lots of healthy sources of fat that should be kind of staples or regulars in a long-term healthy diet. But for the detoxification process, it's actually very good to avoid healthy fats or any bad fats, healthy fats for a period of time. Because anytime we eat a fat, the liver has to produce bile to be able to break it down, which normal day to day, there's no challenge with that, as long as someone's liver is functioning optimally and their digestive system is functioning optimally. But while we're on detox, if the liver is busy producing kind of excess energy to manage bile and fat breakdown, there's less energy for it to focus on elimination and detoxification channels. So really, we're taking fat out so that the liver can just focus on elimination, helping to pull out all the toxins, pull out all the old things that the fat's been storing, making sure that it's all being cleared and not recycled from the body. And then as you get into phase 3, when you get into your maintenance, that is when we'll start to add in some healthy fat. And that's a really good time to be adding it in to kind of slowly readjust your body to being able to break it down properly. You will be taking phase 3. The drops or patches are slightly different formulations, so they are able to support that addition of healthy fats. Okay. We've got a couple more minutes. I have a few other things that I can talk about. I don't want to start anything super long. Cheese. Yes, okay. Cheese after detox in the maintenance program. Cheese doesn't get added in to maintenance. Greek yogurt does, nuts and seeds, avocado, a little bit of oil and butter. We don't add cheese for a couple of reasons. It doesn't sit well with everybody. It's also more processed than nuts, seeds, avocado, oils, good quality oils and butters. Also a lot more, although we don't count calories, it's a lot higher. I like to say more in terms of energy. It's a lot higher in energy, but doesn't have the same fiber content to be able to give any benefits back. So no, no to cheese. But in a longer term diet, you may choose to incorporate cheese, but I would say it's best not to have it as like a daily or as a staple of your diet. It is best to kind of save it as a occasional thing. I personally don't eat cheese all the time. I do love it though. So if I'm out somewhere and someone's eating it, or if someone else is making food, or if we're having a cheese platter, then I will have a little bit. But yeah, I think it's good to keep it out of your main diet. The other thing that you could do is our maintenance phase does include nuts, as I said. So you could try to make your own cashew cheese. It would be more like a sauce or kind of a dip style. It wouldn't necessarily be a hard cheese. I'm not on detox at the moment, so I can eat whatever I want. But I made a cashew cheese recently that was really, really yummy. So there are other options. Maybe once you've kind of gone through the detox process, you may realize that cheese really doesn't suit you. You may wish to eat it again, but you may think about eating less or not eating at all. And there are lots of other really good options. Lovely. Were there any other questions? If there are, please feel free to write them down now. Otherwise, you can come back through this link. You're welcome. Through this link on Facebook and pop in any questions. I'll go back. Tomorrow I'm off because it's public holiday, but I will be back on Thursday. So I'll go through and answer any other questions then. All right. Thanks everyone for joining. Good luck for loading. If any other questions about the challenge or detox in general come up, please feel free to email us and we'll happily get back to you and provide some information. But yeah, it'll be really fun. A couple of our team members are joining the bone broth. Yep. So bone broth is it's currently listed on our unlimited list, I think, but maybe on our drinks. Anyway, it specifies you're allowed to have 500 mils every day, up to 500 mils every day. And that's on top of meat and veg. Yep. So you'd be eating 2 lots of meat and veg portions, 1 snack, 2 lots of your fruit. And then you can have, if you like to, not everybody does, you can have 500 mils of a high quality bone broth. And it does also say in there, make sure there's no added oil, no added sugar. most people who do bone broth do it well. So you shouldn't have trouble if you found a bone broth finding a good quality one. But yes, that is on top of meat and veg. All right, good luck with loading on the weekend. Yeah, as I said, any questions, feel free to post them here or email me and I will get back to you. All right, have a lovely evening. Bye, everyone.